mic up, please. Shh. Okay. I'm going to need your cooperation. Everyone, please take your seat. Servers, please stop. Servers can remove themselves from the dining room. Please stop. Thank you. Okay, if everyone will take their seat, we're going to begin the program. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the video screen.
Gathering here tonight is sure that anything is possible. Now it's my distinct pleasure to welcome to the stage the publisher and founder of Black Enterprise, RENEE, and the true first woman of power, Barbara King. Thank you, Bush. This year I decided to greet you accompanied by the most important woman of power in my life, my wife and partner, and inspiration, Barbara. And since it's not very few months away, come July 2nd, we will have married 49 years. Gathered here tonight assured of two things: that anything is possible and more is expected. We know that each of you is up to the challenge. And with that, it is time to pass the baton to a younger woman of power in our family. You know her as the co-editorial director of the Women of Power Summit. However, we've been teasing her that we're outing her as a Graves tonight. Please welcome our daughter-in-law, Caroline Clarke Graves. That was one of the things we just said about it. She wrote.
That's true. I am never referred to as a member of the younger generation anymore. My children would howl if they were in this room tonight. I am truly honored to welcome all of you to our 4th annual Women of Power Summit and the first Women of Power Legacy Awards presentation of the Obama era.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President and CEO of Black Enterprise, Earl Butch Graves Jr., and Chief Brand Officer for the Women of Power Summit, Caroline Clarke.
So you know, that was the last time Mom and Dad stood on the Women of Power stage together. And given the milestones we're here celebrating tonight, we thought it would be the perfect way to start this evening with a brief look back.
I agree. But you know what would have been more perfect?
What's that?
If we were still actually in the Obama administration.
No doubt. And on that note, take it away.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2020 Women of Power Legacy Awards Gala and the 15th Annual Women of Power Summit. Or perhaps I should say welcome back. Here to greet you from MGM Resorts International is its Chief Diversity and Sustainability Officer. Please welcome Jyoti Chopra.
Thank you very much, Butch. Good evening, ladies and the few gentlemen that are here. MGM Resorts is proud to welcome you to Las Vegas and our beautiful Mirage Resort. On behalf of MGM Resorts International and my 80,000 colleagues and my 10 colleagues who are here on table number 55, we are so proud to host and sponsor Black Enterprise's Women of Power Summit for the 2nd consecutive year. Thank you. Like the Women of Power Summit, MGM is very focused on what matters, and fostering diversity and inclusion is one of our strategic pillars for social impact and sustainability. We are committed to embracing humanity, developing and advancing talent, and ensuring equal access to career growth and leadership opportunities for all, both inside and outside our company. I joined MGM just a few months ago, and as a diverse female who came to the United States as an immigrant on a one-way ticket many years ago, and having worked at several companies, I can attest firsthand as to how much MGM values our female employees and respects our voices and our views. I particularly take great pride in the fact that we have 4 women today on the board of MGM Resorts Board of Directors, 2 of whom are African American. Thank you. The Honorable ALEXIS HERMAN has been a board member since 2002 and currently chairs our Nominating and Governance Committee. Tonight she's here with us, and I'd like to recognize and congratulate her on being a past recipient of the Legacy Awards. I also want to mention Rose McKinney-James, who's been on our board since 2005 and chairs our Corporate Social Responsibility Committee of the Board. They are our women of power, and join you all. At MGM, we're always looking at ways to help advance women in the workforce and help women succeed in the workplace. And as the single largest employer in the state of Nevada, MGM Resorts is dedicated to strengthening our communities, and it's a commitment we take very seriously. At our company, 50% of our workforce is female, with 41% women in management. And some of those women are here with us tonight at our table, and I really want to give them a shout out, and I salute them. Our employees are incredibly involved in development and networking. We have a really powerful women's employee network, and our African American employee network group is amongst the most active. We've been recognized as a best company for diversity Black enterprise 6 times, and for the 2nd consecutive year, we were named one of America's top corporations for women's business enterprises by WeBank. Rest assured, as long as I'm here, we're going to continue to support our diverse workforce, our diverse communities, as well as minority business development. I'm so honored to be in the room with so many dynamic trailblazers. Let's continue to pave the way for women of color at all levels, and I'm so proud of Black Enterprise and the Women of Power Summit. Enjoy the evening, enjoy the summit, network, and make some new friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Jyoti. How many of you were here last year? Oh, come on, now raise your hand. How many of you were here last year? Well, it's great that not only are you back, but many of you have brought mentees, friends, sisters, and daughters back with you. You are also here in spite of a steady stream of warnings and coronavirus concerns. But not everyone who planned to be here ultimately could. As I'm sure you know, several corporations, including some of this year's sponsors, instituted corporate travel bans that prevented a few hundred attendees from joining us this evening. But more than 1,000 of you are here this evening. So let's give those who are watching this on live stream a rousing round of applause anyway. We look forward to reuniting at a future Black Enterprise events with you. In the meantime, let me assure you unequivocally that the only outbreak that's happening here this week is about your breaking out the revolving door of stresses and whatever negative forces you may be managing elsewhere, and immersing yourself in a few incredibly powerful days designed to transform you and your sense of purpose and possibility. As you know, if you've attended the summit before, this is no ordinary conference. And to be clear, this is also no ordinary year, because this year, we are not only celebrating the 15th anniversary of the largest, and I think you'll agree, the best annual gathering of executive women of color in this nation. 2020 also marks the 50th anniversary of Black Enterprise. And there's no better time or place to celebrate. Before we do, however, I want to say thank you. Thank you to all of our sponsors and partners and to all of our loyal followers and speakers. Thank you for your enthusiasm for this event, which our stellar team produces with dedication and passion each year. Thank you for your continued partnership with Black Enterprise, which has come a long way since its day as a magazine. We are proud to be 50 years strong. No small feat for a Black-owned family business or a media company in today's environment. Now, your hopes and dreams provided the impetus for my father, Earl Graves Sr., to launch Black Enterprise magazine with my mother's support 50 years ago. Your determination fueled our company's expansion through the years, and your ambition and excellence as Black businesswomen gave rise to this summit. As well as to a new event we are proud to be launching in Silicon Valley this fall, appropriately titled Women of Power Tech. So there is much to be proud of as we look back and a lot to be excited about as we look forward. But nothing is more important than the present moment. Tonight, we welcome 4 giants into a sisterhood of superstars. Miss Debbie Allen, Miss Debra Lee, Miss Myrtle Potter, and Miss Gale V. King. Let's hear it for this year's class of Amazing Legacy honorees, and without further ado, let's begin this celebration. PepsiCo has hosted the Legacy Awards Gala every year since the very first Women of Power Summit 15 years ago. They have also partnered with Black Enterprise in one form or another for almost 50 years in business. Please direct your attention to the video screen. PepsiCo is one of the several organizations that unfortunately was not able to join us here for the conference due to their newly instituted corporate travel protocols. But we thank them for their continued partnership and wish them well. Let's give PepsiCo a round of applause. This year marks the 5th year that ADP has served as a title sponsor of the Women of Power Summit, and we remain thrilled to partner with them. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to ADP's President of National Account Services, Ms. Debbie Dyson.
Gotta tell you, that was the slowest walk I've ever done of fear of tripping. Y'all saw the video. All right. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome. So, once again, ADP is proud to be the title sponsor for Black Enterprise for 5 consecutive years. We consider it an honor to stand before you in partnership with an organization that continues to exemplify everything that we strive to be together: powerful, brave, untethered, inspired, uplifted, and thriving. Last month at ADP, we celebrated together at an enterprise level Black History Month. It was met with huge success by our ability to bring in a varied set of speakers, from our new Chief Diversity Officer, Aisha Thomas-Petit, to the distinct privilege of me interviewing Hank Aaron, along with his wife. And I gotta tell you, they're the cutest couple ever. And even better, yes, better than that, we closed out the month by me pretending to be Oprah or Ellen by holding a fireside chat with none other than Earl Butch Graves Jr. And I have to tell you, he brought the house down. So just pause for a second. I don't know if, like, as you see Butch, you know, he's tall, powerful, slightly perhaps intimidating. And I wasn't sure if I actually knew he was that funny. And he had the crowd in stitches, so it was really an honor to have him come and celebrate with us at ADP, just as a memory that really is going to be a lasting lifetime. So as I think about what Butch brought to the table, which had the halls chattering with energy, and think about the legacy of interviewing Mr. Aaron, it felt like a full circle moment of being able to reflect on the past for those that set the path, of how we're all able to be here today, and to right now and living in and for our future, which means all of you are part of that magic as well. We have the greatest opportunity to take the lessons, insights, and wisdom that you will gather from the Women of Power Summit and pay it forward times 100. If you want to make the right change to be relevant and noticed for all the powerful things that we do, we must unite as a community. We must honor those that came before us. We must help those that are moving ahead of us, and together lift and climb as we see the very rise we have all helped create. So I thank you all for being here, and for being here in the now, and wish each of you a successful and meaningful summit. Enjoy your evening, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie and ADP. Now, this year, we have a record number of sponsors. Each of them is outstanding, and they have really pulled out all the stops for this special anniversary year. So please take advantage of every opportunity to interact with them over the next several days, especially in our Power Showcase. Let's give all of our corporate partners a warm round of applause. At this moment, I'd like to take a moment of executive privilege, and I want to introduce four very special people. I have 3 women of power in my own home, and I would like to introduce them, if I could. My twin daughters, Erica and Kristen. Stand up, please, Erica and Kristen. And of course, my wife, Roberta. Roberta, would you stand? And lastly, an extraordinary man of power, my beloved brother, Johnny. Johnny, would you stand? He would like you to applaud more for him, he said. Okay. Now, you know her as the leading architect of the Women of Power since its beginning. Please welcome back our Chief Brand Officer, Caroline Clarke.
Thank you, Butch. Butch,
Oh, sorry.
nice tie.
Oh, thank you.
Macy's?
Yeah, Macy's.
Macy's, thank you. Of course, Macy's. So Butch's tie, my dress, thank you. And everything you will see me wear this week, thank you, Macy's, very much. And they have styled a few of us, and they will let you know as they come up this week. But we do appreciate that, Macy's. Here's to you. And if you like it, you all can go back to Macy's, because I know half of you were there today. I saw you hustling in with your bags and your hang-ups, so you too can have the dress. I am overjoyed to be here together again at the start of International Women's Month, marking 50 years of Black enterprise and, incredibly, 15 years of Women of Power. What a ride it's been. The changes have been unrelenting, some of them coming just this week. But it's been said, life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. And we are the most praying, slaying, hustling, cha-cha sliding, wobbling women on the planet. So, dancing in the rain, please. Natural hair don't care, we're good. We are good at managing global teams and closing complex deals, raising venture capital, and launching innovations that transform how business is done and who gets to do it. We are good at directing talent, deploying resources, and taking decisive action, whether in the office, in the kitchen, or on the PTA. The rest of the world thinks we should be grateful every time they offer us 15 minutes of fame. But who even has 15 minutes when there's a plane to catch, a deadline to meet, and a child who has to have a science project done before tennis practice? But you keep dancing through every storm, and some days it's a whole lot. That's why Women of Power is here, as a refuge, a place to restore, recharge, and recalibrate. This is no ordinary gathering, because the need for our togetherness is more profound than that. And this is certainly not a mere girls' trip, because for starters, with a few lucky exceptions out there, fellas, we are women. And from the youngest among us to the most sublime, we are full-grown, fantastically formed, and divinely directed. Black girl magic, we got that. We got it. But we are also in full possession of a singular, intersectional brand of magnificence that we lay claim to every single day. The world dares to portray this unique blessing as a burden. Talk about throwing shade. They would have us believe we can never reach beyond the shadows they try to cast us in. But we are the daughters and granddaughters of dreamers, doers, and defiers, and we know better. They try to tell us little Black girls can't become entrepreneurs or strategic power players, but we have Myrtle Potter. They try to tell us little Black girls can't become world-renowned choreographers or executive producers, but we have Debbie Allen. They said Black girls can't become lawyers or CEOs, but we have Debra Lee. And they dared say little Black girls can't become directors on corporate boards or leaders in the C-suite, but we have Gale King. Tell us what we can and cannot say, do, or be, and then stand back and put some shades on to protect your eyes and watch us blaze a trail. So, if you're ready to level up, you've come to the right place. But if you're in need of some healing, we're here for that too. And who among us doesn't need a little bit of healing? The goal is for you to leave here wearing a brand new golden glow, the kind that emanates from the bright, God-given light that every one of you has within. We're going to start right now, but we're going to go about this a brand new way. So we know this is a some hugging somebody crowd all day long, but we arrived here well, and we plan to leave here well and stronger and more better than we walked in today. So I can't stop you all, but we are strongly discouraging hugging, and hand-doing this week. There are lots of other ways to convey our love for one another, and so that's what we're gonna do now. We've seen it all already. You can elbow bump, a big "I see you" goes a long way here, and you can always blow a kiss, just don't blow. But tonight, because we know we are descended from royalty, and because we each deserve a show of reverence and appreciation for whatever we came through to be here together today, we are going to bow to one another, perhaps with a hand or two over your heart as an extra expression of gratitude and affection. So please stand and bow to your neighbor, welcome your girl across the table, show some love around this room. Say, "I see you, I'm so glad you're here." Okay. Now, you're probably going to be on your feet again in a minute, because talk about some women who are deserving of our reverence and affection. In celebration of this very special anniversary year, several of our past legacy honorees have returned tonight. And so I'm going to ask you all to unleash all your love again as we welcome them at this time. 2010 Legacy Honoree, President and CEO of New Ventures LLC and former United States Labor Secretary, ALEXIS HERMAN. (2014) Legacy Honoree, 2010, forgive me, Legacy Honoree and President of the Ground Crew, Audrey Smaltz. (2014) Legacy Honoree and President and CEO of V&J Holding Companies, Valerie Daniels Carter. (2014) Legacy Honoree and Founder and Executive Director of the History Makers, Juliana Richardson. (2015) Legacy Honoree and President Emerita, I know there's a bunch of you in here, of Spelman College, Beverly Tatum. (2016) Legacy Honoree and the first African-American woman to be inducted into the Royal and Ancient Golf Club of St. Andrews, RENEE Powell. 2018 Legacy Honoree and groundbreaking sportscaster, model, and actress, Jane Kennedy Overton. '19 Legacy Honoree and CEO of the Dallas Mavericks, Cint Marshall. '17 Legacy Honoree, and this year will be our first time having sister honorees, the award-winning actress, PHYLICIA RASHAD. And 2019 Legacy Honoree and Bishop of the 10th Episcopal District of the AME Church, VASHTI Murphy McKenzie. Give it up once more for these phenomenal members of the Legacy Sisterhood. We're going to break for dinner at this time, and you know, when you have a bishop in the room, you don't hardly try to play. So Bishop VASHTI McKenzie is going to come to prepare us. Please rise. And I know usually we hold hands. Tonight, let's raise our hands, hearts, and heads to...
Praise the Lord, everybody. Oh, come on. Praise the Lord, everybody. Let's look to the Lord and pray. Eternal God, the maker of dusk and dawn, morning sun and evening star, we invoke your presence into this place of celebration of our femininity, our personhood, power, and uniqueness. We are here, women, innovators, detail tenders, strategists. We are here, thought leaders, trendsetters, wishing, hoping, and praying to hear something, see something, learn something, so we can take what life has handed to us and transform it into something better. Yeah, we are here. We are here by your grace. Sanitize our environment. Clear the air of any impurities. Sanctify our gathering so those who need to can pray past disappointment until hope arrives. We are here, your leaders, executives, visionaries, dancers, and scientists. We're here, colleagues and collaborators, to discover or rediscover our secret sauce so we can blossom into better leaders who nurture other women to ensure that there is developing talent in the achievement line. We are here by your grace and your mercy, and we thank you because your word reminds us that we can do all things through you who strengthens us. So we will not trust in ourselves, but instead we will pray that every woman will lean on you when things fall into place or when things fall apart. We pray for your guidance because being a woman can be exhausting sometimes. But through you, the yoke is easier and the burdens are brighter. Lord, you are here, and because you are here, we are here. Now bless those who will stretch out on the visions you give them. Those who know the vision is free, but the hustle will cost you something. Watch over our neighbors as they reel from another storm, tornadoes that rip houses off their foundations and families apart. But this time, raise up help from unexpected and expected places. We are grateful for life because things can be replaced. Bless those who sacrifice their own dreams to be celebrated beneath their potential, and disturb the well-behaved women and those who are contented with the status quo, so that the dormant queen on the inside of her will wake up and shake the stars from the tresses of her hair, remembers who she is, adjust her crown, and rise above the messaging that undermines her radiance, resilience, and her relationships. Not that her race be won, but your race be won. Now, bless the plethora potential of nourishment that we have already eaten, that has been set before us. Bless the hospitality of this facility and the city where whatever happens in Vegas stays on social media. And the outstanding preparation of Black enterprise. In the name of the one who came and the one who will return, together we will say amen. Amen. And that's enough. And in fact, turn to your neighbor and say, and you're enough.
gentlemen, please welcome back your Mistress of Ceremonies, Caroline Clarke.
Okay, here we go. The moment we've really been waiting for. I hope you enjoyed your meal and each other's company. And now it's time to recognize our legacy honorees. Each honoree will be presented by a separate corporate sponsor: Accenture, Toyota, ADP, and Pfizer. Please join me in thanking our sponsors for being a part of this special evening. And now, to present tonight's first Legacy Award from Accenture, please welcome the Managing Director of North America Inclusion and Diversity Lead, Michelle Gadsden-Williams.
Thank you, Caroline. The minute our next honoree stopped doing what was safe and expected of her was the minute her career and her sphere of influence began to exceed everyone's expectations, most importantly, her own. Her decision to leave a major Washington, D.C. law firm to join Black Entertainment Television, then a fledgling company in an unproven industry, was the biggest risk she had ever taken. But taking it certainly paid off. The rest has become the stuff of business legend, and she remains one of the most successful and formidable leaders of any race or gender in her industry. This is her story. please welcome 2020 Black Enterprise Legacy Award winner, Miss Debra Lee. Good evening. Well, I'm delighted to be here. Coronavirus, stuffy head cold that I have. Every time I cough, people look at me like I'm a leper. I've been in 4 cities this week, but I'm delighted to be here. This means so much to me. And Black Enterprise has been part of my life forever. At least for 50 years, and this honor really means a lot. I want to thank some people up front. First of all, I want to thank my fellow honorees for being friends and role models, Debbie Allen, Gale King, and Myrtle Potter. Congratulations to the 3 of you. I'm honored to be in your presence. I'd also like to thank my parents. They're both deceased, but they stay in my heart. And they both had such an instrumental part in my growing up. As you saw, my dad was in the Army, so he was a major, and he was very good at giving orders. And I was his 3rd child, and he wanted me to be a lawyer, so that's what I did. And he wanted me to do well in school, so that's what I did. You didn't argue with a major in the Army, whether you worked for him or whether you were in his family. My mother, on the other hand, was warm and smart and creative. She could sew and crochet and knit. She was more handy around the house than my father ever was. She worked also, but she raised 3 children, and if something went wrong in my life, I was always scared to tell my father, but I always knew my mother would hug me and support me no matter what. And so I had those 2 influences in my life, and they made me the person I am today. So I want to thank them for all they put into me. I also want to thank my 2 children. You saw a picture of them up there. They're 2 of my proudest accomplishments, Quinn and Ava. They lived through my crazy work schedule and my crazy travel schedule. And the thing that kept me going was that they were always so proud of me and understood what I was doing. Every couple of years I would say to them, I can retire and take you all to school. And they would say, no, Mom, you keep doing what you do. We're okay, we support you. And I think the biggest sign of that is they're both in the music industry now, which just warms my heart to no end. So they must have liked some of what I've done. I also want to thank Black Enterprise. Earl and Barbara Graves always made me feel like I was part of the family. When I was a young, struggling executive and would come to Black Enterprise conferences, the 2 of them always welcomed me and made me feel part of the family. Butch and Johnny Graves have been great friends to me, and we've kind of grown up in the industry together. And Caroline Clarke and Roberta Graves have also been very dear friends to me. So thank you all for making me feel that I belonged, because whenever I came to a Black Enterprise event, I've been on the cover twice, that was nice. I always felt like I belonged. And the magazine taught me all about business before I even knew I was interested in business, because you saw me with the big fro. That's during my communist ideology days at Brown University, where if you said corporate to me, I would say, not in my lifetime.
But as I got through law school and went to BET and started to get more involved in business, I found out I liked it. But I could always go to Black Enterprise and find out everything you needed to know about every Black company in any sector of business. If they did an article on hair care companies, you knew it was thorough. You knew it covered everything you needed to know. If you wanted to know who ran the biggest funeral homes in our community or insurance companies, I mean, it was always a reference point and a great magazine. I know it's more than a magazine, but in the early days, a great magazine to have around. And when I did finally make it on the cover, I felt like I had arrived. So that was a big deal. So thank you to Black Enterprise for all you've done. And as someone who also grew up in the media business, I know how hard it is to remain profitable, to keep true to your principles, and remain authentic in this industry. So I respect Black Enterprise for doing that. You heard that I serve on several boards. I have served on corporate boards for over 20 years. It's always been a side hustle for me, I guess you could say. I learned when I became COO of BET, companies started coming after me. And there used to be, as I said in the tape, there used to be a rule that you had to be a CEO to be on a board. And white men put their other friends on boards. And it was a very closed community. And then with Sarbanes-Oxley and the change in regulations after 2008 downturn, boards became more open to different kind of people. And, you know, I've been doing it for a long time, but it hasn't changed enough. We still have a long way to go in terms of getting women and people of color on corporate boards. And you've seen what's happened in the past year. You've seen what's happened in the past year with California passing a law that you had to have at least one woman on your board if you're a California company. And then what Goldman Sachs recently did, where they said they weren't going to take any companies public if they didn't have a woman on the board. And those are very important moves, and it's a shame that here we are, 20 years later, and we're still talking about the same thing. So there's a lot to be done. I continue to support and encourage women to be on boards. It's the way I learned to be a CEO, watching what other CEOs did. It's the way I learned about other industries. Right now I'm on Marriott and AT&T and Burberry, and I love everything I'm doing with those companies. So in terms of what I'm doing now, as you know, I stepped down from BET 2 years ago. So I continue to use my voice to support women. I'm doing my boards. I also do a conference every year for prominent women, because one of the things I found is the higher you get in companies or in entertainment or whatever, it gets very lonely. You don't have people to talk to. It's hard to create your own network. If you're a boss, you're not going to form a network with your employees or the other executives that work for you. So I created this conference 11 years ago so women of color could come, relax, talk about issues of the day, and network. And this is the 11th year, and it's my passion. So when I left BET, I took the conference with me. And if all goes well and the virus doesn't get worse, we'll have it next week. But it's been quite an experience. And I love mentoring. A lot of people say I don't want to be a role model. It's not what I do. I think we're all role models. Young people look up to us all the time, no matter what you're doing. And one of the best things that's happened to me since I stepped down from BET is a number of people, young people that come up to me on the street and say, I grew up watching you at the BET Awards, you know, thank you. Young black men come up and say, thank you for what you've done for the culture. And it really means a lot that people noticed and that I was able to have such a successful career. And lastly, in terms of advice to the young women that are in this room, I would say, looking back on my career, the most important thing to me was finding my voice. And that took a while. You know, I started at BET as a lawyer. People only came to me for legal advice. When I took over as COO and CEO, I had to find my voice, and I had to find out what my vision was going to be. And I couldn't run the company like the founder had. I had to really figure out what I wanted to accomplish. And as you saw, it was in the middle of protest outside my house for 7 months. And you know, that was a difficult time for me, but I really, as a lawyer, believed in First Amendment rights. I believed in the rights of young people to like the kind of music they like, because I know my parents didn't like what I liked. They didn't like James Brown or Funkadelic. And we had Standards and Practices Committee that we reviewed every video that went on the air, and if we thought it violated our standards, we'd send it back to the labels. And I wasn't going to turn over that authority to someone else. You know, I was running the company, I made those decisions. Everyone might not, I mean, I didn't make every one, they brought the difficult ones to me. And, you know, I wasn't gonna give that up because there were protesters outside my house. Now, why they didn't go to Jay-Z and Ludacris's house, I don't know. They were the ones making the music, but, but they came to my house, and it forced me to go deeper inside me and really myself and really figure out what I wanted to BET to stand for and what I wanted my own personal legacy to be. So find your voice, use it. When you see injustice, use your loud voice, you know, because so many of us were raised to be good girls and to be nice, and that doesn't always work in the business world. The other bit of advice I would give is to find your passion and to work hard at it. We all work too hard, and if you're not passionate about it, it's not worth the time and effort you have to put into it. And most importantly, help bring other women up behind you. You know, it's not enough for us to progress and do well. We have to make sure other women come behind us. I know there was a time at BET where maybe there were only 1 or 2 women on my senior team, and I used to hate going to my own senior team meetings because the testosterone from the men was bouncing off the wall, and you know, I felt like I couldn't get anything accomplished. They weren't supportive enough. They would love to come and argue. And so I really had to make an effort to get more women on my senior team. And that's something that I really worked hard on. And I'm really proud of the fact of the number of women that I was able to hire during my time at BET. And the last thing I would say and beg you to do is to please vote. This country is in a terrible state. I could never imagine that we would be in this situation. I lived in DC for 37 years. I saw Republican administrations, Democratic administrations come and go, and I've never seen anything like this. And we have to get ourselves out of this horrible state. And I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but please vote and help us take our country back. So thank you again to Black Enterprise. I'm very honored and happy to be here tonight. Thank you.
I don't think I ever said this to Deb, but you know, I have that one uncle who still comes up to me to this day. He's like, how's that job going at BET? No, because it's BE. Never get it right. They just never get it right. Been there my whole life, still. But I'll take it. Congratulations again, Deb. Now here to present our second award of the evening is the Director of Multicultural Business Strategy and Dealer Relations for Toyota Motor North America. Please welcome Alva Adams-Mason.
Thank you, Caroline. Our next honoree was offered a $1 million bonus to join the biotechnology company Genentech 20 years ago. By then, she had earned a reputation as an inspiring leader who could bring new drugs to market and turn them into billion-dollar success stories. Her own story began in a large family in a small town where she was a gifted student. She often attributes her team-building skills to negotiating private time with 7 other people in a 2-bedroom house. But no such humble notions explain her commitment to helping others, her meteoric success. Perhaps this brief look at her life and career will. join me in saluting 2020 Legacy Award honoree Myrtle Potter.
Well, I just had my notes all ready to go, and my phone flipped over, so I'm going to be talking to you from the heart. First of all, I want to just thank you. My heart is just so filled. I want to thank BET. I want to thank, because you guys set an example for me. I watched you, my children watched you. You set a standard in my home. I want to thank the other honorees. I'm so honored to be a part of such an amazing group of women. I've watched all of them. Debra, Debbie, Gale, PHYLICIA, all of you. Watched you so many times, impacted my life. I want to thank my family. If you know anything about my story, you know that family is everything to me. My husband, Alan, is here. My daughter, Lauren, is here. My son, Jameson, is here. And they have been an anchor in my life. I also want to thank Black Enterprise. I was a young girl in New Mexico. There weren't a lot of people like me in my small town in New Mexico. But Black Enterprise was in my house on a monthly basis as a teenager. And I would flip through that magazine and see these franchise owners, these physicians, these brilliant people who just inspired me and told me through that magazine that I could actually do what they did if I set my mind to it. It was truly an inspiration for me. But my biggest inspiration, just like Debra, my biggest inspiration were my parents. I am so blessed to have grown up in a family with 2 parents. I have 6 siblings. We were in a very small house, really tight quarters, but boy, we learned a couple of things. You heard the discussion about teamwork and working together. We also learned that we could do anything that we set our minds to. There was a fearlessness that was instilled in our family. Most of my siblings are girls. I've got 2 brothers, the rest are girls. And through the example of my mother, the example of my father, who was a military man and an entrepreneur, I learned what it meant to be absolutely fearless and to really push the boundaries of what others might set up for you as limitations on what's possible in your life. And I will tell you that that fearlessness really did open up possibilities for me. I've had a wonderful career, but part of that fearlessness also made me completely committed to always making a difference and having an impact in everything that I did. And I was fortunate enough that I fell in love with the business side of medicine very early on in my career. And it was the ability to make a difference in the lives of people every single day. That was the thing that inspired me and made me work harder and harder and harder. And I continue to work very hard to make the lives of people better. So as I think about the legacy that I want to leave, number one, I do believe
that anyone in this room can do what I have done. It's been a lot of hard work, but I will tell you, I'm not only here because of hard work, I am here because there are people in my life who gave me a chance. There are people in my life who opened doors for me, who broke ceilings for me, who reached down and pulled me up. What a wonderful example. And so the biggest legacy that any of us can leave in this room is not only making a difference, thinking about the people who made your way possible for you. Think about how you can make that way possible for someone else. Because none of us have achieved what we've achieved because we've done it on our own. Not anybody in this room is here because they got here by themselves. We all are here because someone cared enough, someone was fearless enough in their belief in us to help lift us up and take us forward. So I will leave you with that thought. The last thing I'll say to you is that, and some of you in the room know, I'm very close to my family, I'm close to my parents. My father, who is 92, my mother is 87, my father is hospitalized. Yes, they were such a blessing to me. But I am here tonight standing in strength as he sits in a hospital, very ill. But I am here because he would be so proud of me. They would be so proud to see me amongst the wonderful people in this room, a room full of exceptional, beautiful Black women, like my beautiful sisters, my beautiful mother, my beautiful daughter. They would be so proud. So I'm going to leave this conference not only with this wonderful statue, but I'm going to leave with pictures and stories and lots of things to share with them. And I'm going to remind them that because of their insight and their leadership in bringing Black enterprise into my life at a very early age, I am here today. So I thank you. So I also want to acknowledge another pharmaceutical company that's in the room. Pfizer has 3 tables here. I'm so proud. I am so proud. I love my industry. I love the drugs that we're making. I love fighting for patients, and I know you do too. So I just wanted to acknowledge that because we started in this industry when there were not many Black people at all, any place in our industry. And so to look out and see us so well represented just makes me so proud. So thank you so very much. I am humbled, honored, and grateful. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Myrtle, and let's please all keep her father in prayer. Now please join me in welcoming back our next presenter, ADP's Debbie Dyson.
Thank you, Caroline. So I think I'm going to be dating myself. But when I was a kid, there were 3 TV shows that made a lasting impact on me, and I'm sure for many of you. So the first was Get Christy Love. Okay, the first crime drama featuring a Black female police detective. The second was Maude, the first feminist sitcom. And the last was Fame, a hit 1980 movie that got an even bigger life on the small screen. Fame was about high school kids yearning to reach their dreams, but for me, the character of Lydia Grant was the heartbeat of the show. The actress who played her, a feisty, compassionate, bona fide triple threat, embodied something that elevated my sense of pride and possibility as a Black girl. And I know I wasn't alone. This incredible woman long since achieved her own measure of fame, but she and her legacy are so much more substantial than that. So let's take a look.
PHYLICIA, shut up. She's probably not gonna be seen in public with me for 5 years after that. Look, I'm sorry. I've been dieting for a week to get in this dress. I had to show it. Tonight has been glorious. It started with a fashion show. You all look so beautiful. I sat out there in the lobby, saw those heels, dresses, new hair, jewelry. Yeah, I know some of that hair is new. I know. We had a fashion show. Then we had church. Yeah, we had church in here tonight. We had church in here tonight before we started to eat, had a good dinner. And then Caroline's words were like everything that needed to be said tonight. She said everything. I really related to that one remark about dancing through the storm, because that metaphor is me. The dance world is a world that starts with do it again, criticism, not good enough, pull up, again. You have to be tough to survive that, but by the time you get on stage, the audience disappears and it's just you and the light. So I've been dancing in the light for a long time. Dancing in the light. From Broadway to television to movies, back to Broadway. The challenges have been immense, but I have been equal to them. I have been equal to the challenges because I was born into a family of privilege. Not because of money, but privilege, because we didn't have money. We were pretty poor, weren't we, Lish? Child, we didn't always have, okay. I'm not gonna tell everything. I remember that one Christmas, we didn't have money to get a tree. And we went out and got a tree that someone didn't want to buy, so it became our Christmas tree. And the greatest gift was the cat came home. And we were so happy. We didn't have money, but we were wealthy. We were rich in creativity. We were rich in inspiration. We were wealthy beyond measure in understanding the nature of the spirit, that it was your inner self that was the real self. And that was a blessing that came from my mother, the space-age poet Vivian Ayers, and my father, the incredible dentist, Dr. Andrew Arthur Allen. And so we were born into this world to go do something. It's no surprise that we've done what we do. We're still in the making. It ain't over. No, not even close. All of my friends are retired. I don't even know what that is. Child, they're talking about we going on a jazz cruise. Ain't nobody got time to go on a jazz cruise. You know, they always say to me at Grey's Anatomy, they love me and they respect me, so they always call me the icon, and this is our national treasure. I said, well, if I'm a national treasure, where is the treasury? Where is the money? Where the hell is it? I have to honestly say this because I've dedicated the real heartbeat of my life to young people. Because yes, I do still think I'm young, and in my mind, that's where it counts. I'm not gonna say the rest, I'm gonna leave it alone. I have so many young people that I'm mentoring, young men and women alike, who wanna walk in my shoes, and I'm steadily trying to make them understand they gotta walk in their own. They gotta find their own path. You know, and if I'm a beacon of light, good. If I can be a pathfinder, good. And inspiration, that's everything. So I'm always out there with a tin cup trying to raise money to give kids the arts. That's what helped me survive. The racism of Texas was incredible. This room looks very familiar and home-like to me. I grew up with a room like this because we were not allowed to be with white people. We were always black people together. High school, elementary school, football games, movie theaters, restaurants. This is how we grew up. And then everything changed. Civil rights took over this country like a brush fire. And we had integration. And then finally I could go to dance class. That school, I was the only black kid there. The board of directors didn't even know I was there. They were really mad when they found out they had a black kid at the Houston Ballet Foundation. But then when they saw me dance, they went, oh, okay. We just pretend we don't see her. We grew up with so many challenges, and through it all, what we had was each other. I had my own pathfinder, my sister, PHYLICIA. I followed her everywhere. She used to hate me. I was that annoying little sister. I wanted to go everywhere PHYLICIA went. I wanted to wear her clothes. I wanted to smile at her boyfriend. But PHYLICIA was always my greatest protector, always. I always felt safe because she was guiding the way. I followed her to Howard University. I followed her to New York. You know, and then we started finding our own ways. So I am grateful and feel blessed to do the work that I do. And I have church every day when I walk into the Debbie Allen Dance Academy because it is very spiritual. It's the closest you can get to God is to be creative. To be creative. And we need that in all of our public schools because it's creativity that's going to help you solve a problem called cancer. It's creativity that's going to help us figure out a banking situation. It takes creativity to run a government. Child, they ain't had no dance classes, you can tell. I should just get that stick back out and get on the plane. You, with the orange hair, you, get over here. First position, let's go. Come on, I said first, not second, first. Life is wonderful, life is beautiful, it's why I claim it. I was just happy to have my 70th birthday and say it out loud. That's right. I'm gonna write the book now. Y'all be waiting for it's coming. My husband doesn't want me to write it because I'm gonna tell the truth. He doesn't want to be told. I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna tell all of it. I'm gonna tell it. But at 70 years old, I'm looking at the young people who are not moving fast enough. I'm looking at the young people who are not sure where they're going. You don't have to be sure where you're going to end up. Just go somewhere. Be on a path. Be in a direction that will curve and you're going to land where you're supposed to land. I wouldn't say that I was going to be executive producing director of Grey's Anatomy even 10 years ago. I've hired more women in network television than anyone. And I wasn't asked to do it. It wasn't a part of a Me Too thing. It was because I grew up knowing that I was the only one in the room and that there were so many others like me that just needed the opportunity. And that's what we have to do. Possibility, opportunity, inspiration. Those are the words that Ms. Caroline started out with tonight. Those are the words that I live and breathe by, that I teach the young people. So I am thrilled to be with you tonight. I am thrilled to be welcomed to the tribe, to the legacy of women of power. And I want to have a moment and say thank you to Earl Graves, who had asked me to come a few years ago to be celebrated. Who can say no to Earl? But I couldn't come because I couldn't say no to Shonda Rhimes. So. So I'm thrilled that I'm here, that Black Enterprise has become such a media conglomerate that the world is celebrating and extolling the virtues that come out of our community. And sisters, have the greatest and most glorious summit, those sessions that are being planned. I wish I could be the one, the politics of hair. There's so many wonderful sessions. There's so many things. I looked over the brochure, but I do have to go back after a little panel discussion tomorrow, back to Grey's Anatomy. But I'm thrilled to be with you. Felicia, forgive me if I embarrassed you, I'm sorry. But I'm always myself, and I want to say thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I have to tell you, because you know I'm watching from backstage, what is almost as much fun as watching Debbie Allen up here is watching her big sister watch Debbie Allen up here. Congratulations again, Debbie. How many of you adore your mother-in-law? Oh, wow, that's not a lot. That's not a lot. And not every woman does. And even if you do, try working with her in the family business and then talk to me. Seriously, I did, in fact, love and respect Barbara Graves very much. She saw me and believed in me enough that, as you saw in that vintage video, she handed the reins of her role here at the summit to me in 2009. Whatever I have made of that amazing opportunity has been informed by everything she brought to it and everything she prayed would become possible for Black women in business in the time beyond her time, in the world that she knew her grandchildren would inherit. And 3 of those grandchildren are here tonight. Please welcome a few of our family's younger women of power, my nieces, Erica Graves and Kristen Graves, and my beautiful daughter, Veronica Graves.
Thanks, Mom. This anniversary year marks a significant shift. Women of Power has now existed longer without Barbara Graves' presence than it did with her. So much has changed. And yet, she's still here. She's in the enduring beauty and strength of every legacy honoree. She's in the passion and integrity that's poured into every woman of power. She's in the persistence and resiliency of every one of you.
Of course, she also remains in the hearts of her grandchildren, including our brothers and cousins, and we still strive to make her proud of us every day. Grandma would be amazed by what women of power and all of you have become. Although, candidly, she might not love having an award named in her honor.
It's true, she wasn't a big fan of the spotlight, but she would have been absolutely thrilled by tonight's choice of honoree. Now, here to present the 2020 Barbara Graves Legacy Award, please welcome Vice President of Enterprise Communications for Pfizer, Inc., Vanessa McGowan, accompanied by my beloved father, Butch Graves.
Thank you, ladies. Tonight's final honorees met Barbara Graves about a decade ago at the Black Enterprise Golf and Tennis Challenge in Miami. At that time, neither of them played golf, so they got to chatting over lunch, and like so many of us often do, they just clicked.
To be clear, our honoree now has quite a golf game. At least that's what she tells me. But back then, these were just two women of substance, connecting over their shared sense of humor, compassion, generosity, and something my mother valued greatly, common sense. They both rose from humble beginnings to levels of unprecedented access, but neither of them ever forgot how it felt not to have that access, and neither one ever stopped reaching back to support those who didn't.
Tonight's recipient of the Barbara Graves Legacy Award cares deeply about excellence, about leadership, and most of all about people. As a trailblazer in the insurance industry, having spent her entire career at Nationwide, she has been a standard bearer and innovator with a natural gift for identifying and developing great talent.
Okay, we're going to start that all over again. Okay.
Thank you. Tonight's recipient of the Barbara Graves Legacy Award cares deeply about excellence, about leadership, and most of all about people. As a trailblazer in the insurance industry, having spent her entire career at Nationwide, she has become a standard bearer and innovator with a natural gift for identifying and developing great talent, managing, connecting with, and encouraging others, and a deep desire to see those who are most easily discounted rise and ultimately soar.
Here's a bit more about tonight's stellar final honoree, Gale King.
Please welcome the 2020 recipient of the Barbara Graves Legacy Award, Gale King.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, first of all, it is not fair to have to follow Debbie on this stage, okay? I cannot dance, so sorry. But anyways, to Caroline, Butch, and the entire Graves family, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I also want to say congratulations to Debra, Debbie, and Myrtle. Your stories are powerful, your legacies admirable, and I am proud to be in your company. I also want to say congratulations and thank you to all of the prior honorees for living lives that we all want to emulate. So good evening, good evening, good evening, Black Enterprise family. When I heard that I was going to receive the Legacy Award from Black Enterprise Women of Power, I was overjoyed. Overjoyed because Black Enterprise is our family, and no recognition is as sweet as that, as recognition from your family. They know your journey, they know your struggles, your story. And Black Enterprise, we want to applaud and thank you for celebrating African Americans for 50 years. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a big round of applause. I was overjoyed when I learned of the recognition, but when I heard from Butch that I was going to receive the Legacy Award connected to the matriarch of the family, the one and only Barbara Graves, I was moved to tears because the Barbara Graves Award is personal, and I know that personal is a whole nother level. Having met Mrs. Graves, I am deeply proud that her family saw her in me, a woman of character, of strength, a teacher, a woman who has left her mark forever on the lives she's touched and indeed the world. I recall the very first time I met her, and what stood out for me was that she did not seek attention. She didn't need to. And when she spoke, you listened because you knew that she had something to say. You knew intuitively that there was something special about her. She had been given that special presence, that special anointing that God reserves for only a few. And of course, receiving this recognition took me back. It took me all the way back to my beginning, and I reflected on the journey. How did it happen? I started on the wrong side of success. Jim Crow South, poverty, born to a teen mother. The world, based on those statistics, said that this girl child would not win, could not possibly change the narrative that the world had deemed. But I had a secret weapon called the most amazing grandmother, who told me that the world was a lie, and that if I could dream it, I could achieve it. And I believed the narrative that she deemed. And well, that's what happens to a life when someone believes in you. They give you wings to soar, to ignore the noise and chatter, and to become all that you can be. I agree. Thank you. After college, I joined a company that had a culture with a soul, but I didn't see myself. I didn't see Black women in positions of influence and power. I didn't see them walking the halls of Nationwide. But because the company cared, it was committed and it allowed me to participate with them in creating a company in which everyone can succeed. and it has opened so many doors for me and opportunities for others. I am always grateful to Nationwide and the people who have supported me in my career journey. But because I know how it feels to be excluded, and I also know how it feels to be included, I have made it my life's work to advocate for and on behalf of all, and I will continue to do whatever I can do to be a catalyst for positive change. I want every woman, I want every person to believe in their own power and to create their own dreams. And so, to the Graves family again, thank you, thank you. I am beyond touched and proud of this recognition. It says that I have been faithful with the opportunities I have been given, and that I have in some way lived into the beautiful legacy of Barbara Graves and the prayers and dreams my grandmother had for and over my life. But we accomplish nothing without the support of many. And so, on behalf of all of the people, past and present, who have contributed to my amazing journey, I say thank you. And tonight, I proudly accept the Barbara Graves Legacy Award, and I plan to continue to do more than expected, as she would want me to. Thank you so very much.
Congratulations again, Gale. Mom would be so happy. Please give all of this year's incredible Women of Power Legacy Awards another round of applause. Thank you, PepsiCo, for being tonight's host sponsor, and thank you again to our other sponsor presenters, including Toyota, Pfizer, Accenture, and of course, our title sponsor, ADP. Before you go, every woman you will see on this stage this week has an amazing story to tell, beginning with our legacy honorees tomorrow morning. She could change your life, and she is here for you. But, and please hear me and let this sink in, all of that is also true of the women sitting beside and around you right now. Every woman here is here for you, and you are here for her. We are in this together. So let's carry that spirit into these next few days. I love when Debbie Allen said she felt so safe with her sister. That is what we want your gift to be to each other here this week. So if you haven't already, please discount the BE app, the events app, and use it to keep you abreast of changes as they happen in the program throughout the next few days. Take the time to read the speaker bios there. They are all incredible. We keep our bio intros short so that your sessions can be as fruitful as possible. Please do arrive promptly and get seated, because we will be starting on time and we have a lot to give you. We want you to get every shred of it. And ladies, you no doubt noticed the fabulous portraits of power as you made your way to the ballroom. These are portraits of all of our past and present legacy honorees, as well as our 50 most impactful women in business in the past 50 years. We invite you to make your own impact and create your own portrait with them and share them on social media using the hashtag BEWPS. Finally, I'd like to invite all of our honorees, past and present, to return to the stage for a group photo. We have Women of Power team members ready to escort you. Thank you all. We've been messing up on the hugging in here. I've checked it all out with everybody. And I know we were upstage. We are up here hugging like crazy. Okay, we're going to start over tomorrow. We're going to reboot. We're going to go here. We're going to go here. And we're going to keep it all safe and wonderful. Enjoy the rest of this evening. Please join us at the Google reception. Following this, there will be people outside to show you where we're headed. We're going to keep the fun going, and we will see you in the morning. Good night. God bless.